So let's get started. Today what we will be covering is all about structured content and personalization. So we'll be learning quite a bit about that from all of us. We're all kind of all tied together here in some great tech partnerships, so let's chat a little bit. First, I want to level set a bit. Some of you may work kind of with headless architecture, some may not, so I just want to level set and chat a little bit about some of the concepts that are important to know to get to know headless architecture. So what does it actually mean to go headless? What that means is when you're building a website, a lot of times you might be used to monolithic CMS structures or platforms that have the presentation layer and the content layer mixed together. When you go headless, you actually separate that presentation layer, that front end, from your content, the content layer. So that means that you are able to put together really great structured content that scales really gracefully. A little bit of a visual, because I am a visual person. What we have here is a representation of a monolithic platform. This is when, again, that front end and the back end are put together, kind of some platforms that you would be maybe used to, WordPress. Sorry if this mic is a little bit crazy. WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, those kind of platforms where all of your display code, your UI, and all of your content are kind of mixed together. When we're talking about a headless platform, you all can see here, we have our back end, so like our content where we put all of our data, and we have various front ends. If you're a developer, you can work on a front end in React, in Angular, in Vue, anything of your choice, and you can use that that CMS as your back end, connected with an API, and have that content sent to various different front ends, different channels without having to keep them coupled together and have a platform that's super opinionated. And I will just say, ones that you may also be familiar with would be Sanity, Contentful. There are a good number of those as well, more of those. So what does structured content look like, and what does it look like when it's not structured? What I actually mean by that, and I am, again, a very visual person, what we're looking at here is a CMS where we are showing the opening and closing hours of a museum. We have some structured content here, a summary, a title. We have a visit as our title and the summary of the art museum. And then we have a big block here of lots of different kind of content, including opening hours, closing hours, and then we have opening and closing hours at other parts of the museum as well. It's very difficult to get content out of this field because it's all mixed together. You'd have to be doing a lot of traversing and finding this content to be able to do anything with that. So this is what I would like to call not so structured content, hard to work with, far from ideal. What does structured content look like? So this is actually Insanity. And what we're looking at here is something very similar. We have an art museum and all of its opening hours and closing hours. The difference here is that we're actually seeing all of that content structured in very descriptive fields. So for example, this field may be called weekday or day of week, Monday, Tuesday, etc. And then we have the hours, 10 a.m., 5 p.m. These are like time fields. So it's really easy to go grab these fields and manipulate those fields. We don't have to be digging through a lot of content to find that information. Similarly here, we have this kind of same structure for a different part of the museum. We have a sculpture garden. This is art museum, this is sculpture garden. Same situation. It's a data model that we can use over and over for different parts of that museum. And you can kind of see how that might scale for other kinds of organizations. Like this is maybe a small art museum, but you can see maybe for a large e-commerce platform or a big B2B, B2C marketing website, this can be super useful. Another point I'll mention as well with structured content like this, about being able to grab that content out of those fields. I know AI is a really great we're using a lot lately. This is actually super helpful for AI to be able to go in and grab fields and manipulate those fields. So when you're starting to learn kind of all the new AI stuff you can do, structured content is super important for that. Again, visual. Just to chat a little bit more about what that really looks like when you zoom out a little bit. You have your headless CMS, where all that structured content might live. Your images, your opening hours, all the articles and blogs that you might use for your site. And that lives in your CMS. We often use Sanity, so I have that circled here, but there are others as well. And then we have, what we would do is, as I mentioned, that structured content is connected through API. We would send that to a site builder, Next.js, Gatsby, Nuxt if you're using Vue. That site builder is going to take all that data, connect it together with all of your front-end components, send it to your distribution platform, AWS, Vercel, etc. Send that off to your user on the browser. So it's super separated. You've got your content here, and you've got all of your components, your UI, completely separate, all connected via API. We have a lot of benefits for going headless. It is framework agnostic, like I mentioned. The front end is a developer's choice, so you can develop your UI in any framework that you choose. So this is great for teams that you're like, oh, we want to go headless, but our team only knows React, or we can't hire anybody else who knows Angular. That's okay. You can use the technology that your team already is using. Headless is also super great for SEO and performance. You're able to use, like I mentioned, Next.js, Vue, or Next. They use server-side rendering, static site generation. It's really great to be able to get all of that content served to your user very quickly and SEO friendly. It's also, again, because it's separated from your UI, it's super customizable. It allows you to get connected with a lot of third parties, work really well with personalization, which we will be chatting a lot about later. You can connect in your visual components from a lot of different places, and your analytics as well. As for structured content that we chatted about just a moment ago, because it is separate, it's out in your CMS, you can efficiently scale this and build it in a custom way to be able to curate content for lots of different kinds of audiences as your customer base grows. Next, we'll talk a little bit about Sanity, and I'll come back a little bit later. We have Nancy Du here, Senior Solution Engineer at Sanity. Thank you.